I watched Pluto and I was underwhelmed due to the weaknesses of Naoki Urasawa appearing once again. I've read Monster and Asadora. Those two manga also share a lot of the same weaknesses here. Let's get into it. Urasawa is obsessed with mysteries. Monster was a mystery, so was Pluto, so was 20th Century Boys, at least where I stopped, and so is Asadora. Urasawa is good at keeping the audience in suspense, but he's not good at delivering satisfying answers. There are two general rules for writing mysteries. The first one I made up. The longer the audience is kept in suspense, the better the answer to the mystery has to be. The second rule is one I picked up on. If there is a culprit in a mystery, the culprit should be someone the audience already knows. This is because in a good mystery, the audience should be able to solve the mystery at the same time as the characters. Let's start with the murder mystery, because that is the driving force of Pluto. There are 7 elite robots that were slowly killed off throughout the show, alongside some humans that were their creators. The big mystery was who was doing these murders and why. Unfortunately, Pluto doesn't stick the landing. For the first few kills, there were mysterious tornadoes that approached the robots and killed them, leaving horns at the site. When we finally learn who the murderer is, it's a robot named Pluto, who we've never met before. So if the culprit to the murder mystery was going to be a new character, what was the point of making it a murder mystery? There is also the fact that robots shouldn't be able to kill humans, yet Pluto could. I believe this is answered by him being created by an unnaturally advanced robot. This specific mystery was stretched out, and the answer was underwhelming. There's also the motive. For a long time, we're left wondering why he was killing all these people. The answer is that he was told to by someone who wanted to destroy the world. No complex ethical or moral philosophy. The creator had a grudge against the America stand-in and thus planned to destroy the Earth, starting with them. If you're going to keep the audience in suspense for a character's motives, their motives better be satisfying and complex. Omni-Man from Invincible is a bad example. Lelouch and Sasuke from the end of their respective stories are good examples. But that's not the only mystery in the story. There are keywords thrown around for a long time. Pluto, Goji, and Bora. The characters are constantly asking, what do these words mean, and who are these people? In episode 3, Abullah is introduced as the creator of Pluto. In episode 4, Goji is introduced as a body-hopping genius who also wants to kill Adam. In episode 5, Tenma revealed that he created a super advanced robot that never woke up due to it having 9 billion personalities. He also said the only way to wake it up would be to insert chaos and negative emotions. Towards the end of the show, the answer to all of this is revealed. After the real Abullah died, Tenma put Abullah's brain, along with its negative emotions, into the robot and he woke up, believing that it was the real Abullah. Abullah created Pluto, and then also created an alter ego named Goji, who created Bora. Bora is just a new giant robot that was never shown before. Also, inside Pluto is Abullah's son, Sahad. Here's the issue. Abullah was introduced in episode 3 and was already suspicious from his first episode, having been the last person to see one of the victims alive. And in the same episode, we see him give commands to the robot with the cockroaches to retrieve Pluto, so we already know he's evil. So while Gejito is still investigating who's behind the robot murders, I already have half the answer. I just refused to acknowledge it because I thought that there was much more to the puzzle. I thought there's no way that could be it. At one point in episode 4, Adam says that Gejito and Pluto are the same, but this never comes up again. It's just a cheap distraction to keep us in suspense. In episode 5 and 6, Gejito is still bracing Darius and Abullah to try and solve the mystery that's already halfway solved. He brings up the image of a guy who's later revealed to be Sahad, and it feels like this will result in a big plot twist. Abullah said he didn't know him, but the twist was that he was Abullah's son, who was actually Pluto. This twist is only interesting because Abullah lied about not knowing him. Sahad being Pluto has no effect on me because I didn't know who Sahad was until the last scene of episode 5, where we see his picture. Once again, the culprit to Pluto's identity is a new character. I was not given the tools to predict this, nor enough setup to care. The Goji Bora twist was weak too. The Chekhov's gun about Tenma's great robot was cool, but the answer to the mystery wasn't. Who is Goji? Oh yeah, it's the same exact guy that created Pluto and already revealed he was evil back in episode 3. And who is Bora? Some new robot that you've never seen before. I don't think the audience had enough information to predict that Goji was Abullah. We definitely couldn't have predicted Bora, because it's just a new character. All of these mysteries are unsatisfying. One wiki says that Bora was Persia's agricultural robot. If this was actually established ahead of time, it still wouldn't be satisfying because, at best, it was a character that was mentioned in passing, not a character we actually knew. There was a minor mystery about Gejito's erased memories. In episode 6, we learned that he killed a human in the past out of anger. In the last episode, we learned that he adopted a robot kid, and a human killed it, which is why he killed him in revenge. All of these memories were erased. It's an okay answer that develops his character and the world because a robot killed a human, but it's kinda underwhelming, especially for how long it was held off. When director Schelling refused to answer what he did to Gejito in episode 3, it made it seem like there was some giant conspiracy going on, but they just made him forget that he had a son who he avenged the death of. Gejito regaining these memories barely had an effect on his character as well, further decreasing the impact. And then there's the teddy bear. Who is that? He's some robot that controls the USA stand-in, but I could not explain to you his involvement in the plot if I tried. All I know is that he's evil and wanted most humans to die so that he could enslave the rest. So let me recap my issues. If Pluto and Bora's identities were going to be a mystery that was hyped up, they should have been characters we already knew, and the story should have given us the tools to deduce this. If Pluto/Abullah's motives were going to be a major mystery that was stretched out, they should have been more complex and satisfying. If Pluto being Sahad was going to be a major twist, Sahad should have been introduced much earlier. If Goji was going to be the same person as Abullah, there should have been clues to piece this together. Stop stretching out the suspense of mysteries that don't have interesting answers. Monster did the same thing towards the end. Spoiler alert. Johan was hyped up as the second coming of Hitler, the Führer's successor. His big plan was also hyped up and kept as a mystery until the last arc, but his ultimate plan was to give a small town a bunch of guns and cause a frenzy so that they could all kill each other. I remember when one of my friends called this lame, I was in denial and tried to defend it, but he was right. Hitler did the Holocaust, a world-shaking event. This man Johan put guns and drugs in the hood and hoped that everyone would kill each other. America already did that and it wasn't impressive. Do something else. Johan had already done significantly more impressive things. All those times he mentally manipulated people into killing themselves far outclassed his final solution. Got me excited for nothing. Did anyone even die? Tenma shut down the plan so quickly. When I saw the horns at the side of the corpses, I was immediately reminded of True Detective Season 1, another murder mystery. That might have played a role in my raised expectations because TD Season 1 is one of the best mystery stories I've seen. In Pluto, the horns aren't really relevant, they're just some mythological reference to gods of death. In TD, the horns actually do matter and are part of solving the mystery. The answer to who the culprit is satisfies me. The reason the culprit committed the murders is complex and disturbing. The answers to all the mysteries that kept me in suspense knocked it out of the park. If you want to see a real murder mystery, go watch True Detective Season 1. I talked about side quest syndrome in my JJK video. This story, and Urasawa's writing in general, has side quest syndrome. In Pluto, the main quest is to solve the murder mystery, but Pluto loves to get distracted and pause the main quest to focus on side quests, like a robot learning to play music from a blind composer, a robot athlete, a little girl playing with a homeless man, and the robot KKK. It's obnoxious, especially when I'm so invested in the main quest. Monster faced this problem a lot too. The side quests always found a way to tie back to the main quest, but a majority of it could be cut out without it affecting the main quest. I can't lie, some of the side quests in Monster and Pluto are moving, but that doesn't change the fact that most of them are just slowing down the main story. Synthesis is the solution. If Urasawa found a way to include these character arcs into the plot without stopping the main quest, I'd be down. But instead, I gotta pause the murder mystery to see a 5-year-old girl befriend a homeless dude. I gotta see robots do pro wrestling. I gotta see a robot learn how to play a piano. Imagine you're watching Death Note, but the story takes a break to focus on Misa Amane's adventures. Imagine you're watching Erased, and the story pauses to focus on some side character that'll never return. Imagine you're watching Promised Neverland, and the story stops to focus on another farm that won't be relevant. Imagine you're watching Monster, and oh wait, Monster already does that. In conclusion, Pluto was underwhelming because it struggled with writing compelling mysteries and got distracted by side quest syndrome. The story was okay and I don't regret watching it, I just expected more. I also wouldn't recommend it because it's 8 hours long and wasn't worth the amount of time and investment. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and help me revolutionize the manga industry by buying my manga and spreading the word. All important links will be in the description.